I've been promised power, I've been promised versatility, I've been promised red. This is the IFI Diablo review. Let's take a look. A special thank you goes out to IFI for sending us this unit for review. I really do appreciate it. This is their flagship portable amp DAC, where it boasts we've stripped away everything unnecessary and are giving you everything that you desire as an audiophile. So I'm actually going to be putting that to the test to see if it's true. Now, this is a premium packaged item. It's very weighty. When you pay your money, please check down below for the latest pricing, because prices do seem to be fluctuating between the United States and the UK. This is presented ultra well. It's very well sealed, airtight, so that it's not moving around. Come on, there you go. And inside here, we have some paperwork as per usual from IFI, and very, very red. Hey, this foam is really nice. It's not one of those ones that crumbles. I actually like that. I wonder if it can be repurposed. So what else do we get in here? It's a hidden compartment. Do we get money? No, unfortunately. Oh, that is nice. We get this canvas style portable bag. We're gonna look at that accessory momentarily. It's quite heavy. I don't know what's in there. Okay, let's take a look at some of the accessories. This is a 5 volt, I believe, iPower power supply. That's fantastic. If you're running this at the desk, excellent. Place that there. And this USB-A to USB-A female is about 70 centimeters. So this is definitely a desktop setup situation. You're not taking this on the go. That's fine. A nice USB-A to USB-C cable. I suppose if you're plugging the power into your computer or something, because I know that this unit, yeah, it's a basic jack, it's fine. Let's get rid of all of this stuff. It's all basic stuff. That concludes the iPower power supply, USB cables, and the adapters, which is all nice, but this is really interesting. This is their canvas case. Now, this is a very, very nice touch. It looks very well padded. Inside here, we get more accessories. Blimey, this thing has so much with it. It's this material. We've got a 4.4 Pentacon to 3-pin XLR balanced cable. I presume this is to go into an external amplifier to be used as a DAC exclusively. Okay. Case itself has openings at the top and at the bottom so that you can run wires at the top and at the bottom. The problem is, this is another compartment where you can actually put the USB-A to USB-C cable there. That's nice. And in here we get a handle. Hey, that's really sweet. Okay. My problem is, if we put the Diablo in here, we will get to this in a moment, I promise you, like this, you can't access the volume knob once this is sealed. This should have been open completely or magnetically placed in a flap form up top so that you could access the volume, because that's a bit problematic. And second of all, you have the issue of a touchscreen phone. You'll constantly have to lock and unlock. Maybe that's why they've designed it so that you can connect your phone to the Diablo here, but have your phone outside. Very, very good try, IFI. Maybe in the next one, a touch more refinement, I think, but yeah, nice. This is the reason why you're here, the red Diablo. This unit is an amp DAC for on the go, such as the Mojo 2 and the M15 that we reviewed. Check out those reviews if you're interested. I believe it's like twice the height of the Mojo 2 and slightly thinner though, but this barrel shape gives off the impression it's from the Starship Enterprise, and then you to actually put it in the console to go into warp speed. Let's take a tour. Nothing on either side, nothing underneath. This is quite surprising when you have reviewed the Griffin, or if you've owned the Griffin, that has a multitude of switches, knobs, functions. No, this has been stripped down. So if we rear end the unit, we have the USB-C connection. This is for the power supply, so that the power supply is actually separate from the data input. This is for noise reduction. Happy days. This is something I have a problem with. This is a USB-A male connection. This is designed so that you can use it with the Apple camera kit, a thing I did not have when I took this unit with me when I was away from CMA for 5 weeks. The problem was I forgot that huge USB-A to USB-A female cable in this box, and this turned into a paperweight. And this was supposed to be my on-the-go desktop amplifier and DAC. I had the M15 with me. So I'm not happy with this. It works, it's functional, and it's very, very unlikely you'll ever break it, but I don't think it's ergonomic, especially for something on the go. It's too Apple-esque, it's too wall-gardened. And as an Apple fanboy, it takes a lot for me to say that, so I'm not happy with that. You've got USB-C here already. There was no reason on earth why this couldn't have been USB-C. I guess we're starting with caveats. Then we have the balanced 4.4 Pentacon out. This is exceptional. This is to go into amplifiers, as I tested with the KN HA300 Mark IIs over there, which we will get onto in the sound section. And then we have a SPDIF in 3.5 jack form. So this can be converted via a Toslink cable and an adapter, or just 3.5 optical adapters. You can get those on Amazon. Flipping the unit to its front, we get an analog on and off switch, which is simultaneously a volume pot, akin to the Oppo HA2 SE from yonks ago. Then we have the gain switch in the middle. This goes from eco to standard to turbo. There's a lot to say about this in the sound section. We have a 4.4 balanced Pentacon because the circuitry inside the unit is balanced. I mean, these connections, 4-pin XLR and 4.4 Pentacon, don't usually indicate that the unit itself is balanced. Just look at the Chord TT2 with the XLR out. It's not, it's single-ended, it's just for convenience sake. And then we have the single-ended 6.3 jack here. So that covers the hardware and the specifications. Let's talk about ergonomics a little bit. You will take this unit with you on the go, but I don't think you will use this unit as a portable amp DAC the way you would use a Mojo or the way you would use an M15. If you do, please put it in the comment section down below if that is the case. Because this is overly large, and on a phone on top of this, I think this is more of a laptop accessory for an office, or if, like myself, when I was away, it would have been my desktop setup if I hadn't forgotten that proprietary annoying USB-A cable. Yeah, that was problematic. As we can see from the specifications, reams and reams and reams and reams of it down the screen, you can see that this unit is packing a serious punch. 5 watts on the balanced, DSD encoding up to 512, PCM 768 kHz up to 32-bit. The Diablo is definitely using a lot of their patented design of current drive and differential loop, etc. These look very intricate. If you're interested, pause the screen for a moment and summarize here. Inside the unit, we have a pair of Burr Brown chips, the same as the IDSD Pro Signature, and I believe the Diablo as well. Their sonic characteristics is of the same family. Power in this unit is the IFI I Pro adapter, which is 5 volts and is provided via USB-C. The actual adapter is barrel connected, so you can actually use it with something else if you want to. It's a pretty fantastic power supply, but just to charge this unit, it's a waste, but to actually use it on the desk, it will most likely provide a cleaner source of power. So definitely keep it at the desk is my advice. Distortion is at 0.002. The M15 is at 0.0003, and it's a dongle, and its dynamic range is 130 dB. It kind of shocks me for that little dongle what it does. So there is definitely a higher noise floor on this unit than some of the other units that have been coming out on the market, but it's still audibly pretty damn clean, to be honest with you. It's not bad at all, especially in eco mode. It does a very good job. Obviously with amplification, as you go to turbo, that noise floor will rise. It's just the nature of the beast, providing more volts obviously and more power. And what they've done here is increase the voltage from the standard 3.7, 2.5, all the way, it seems, exceeding 10, 15 volts to drive very insensitive planar headphones. I mean, this unit drives pretty much anything. How well, that's up for the sound section, but it drives pretty much anything, including Sesvaras. It gets freaking loud, so you have nothing to worry about. But setting all that aside, the reason why you're here is the sound. How does this unit perform? How does it sound? I think the IFI Sound Signatures Diablo is not going to be a surprise to you if you've been part of the IFI family. For example, if you're coming from the IFI Griffin, and if you're coming down from the IFI IDSD Pro Signature, you're going to be right at home here. This unit is powerful. As we saw in the specifications, this provides 5 watts of power continuous. Whether it's continuous with measurements from a third party, I don't know, but apparently it's continuous, and that is a lot of juice. That is serious amount of juice. Using the eco mode for now, with sensitive headphones such as this one, the CMA Lyrique, and IEMs obviously, this unit is overpowering even in the echo mode. But the sound signature you get from this unit is basically a Griffin and an ISD Pro Signature having a baby and giving you a red Diablo. It's analytical but not boring. It's not warm, but it's not ultra cool either. Spatial presentation is excellent in the Diablo. Layering is very well portrayed from front to back and left to right. It does give you a deck of cards shuffled sort of soundscape where every element seems to be layering one on top of each other. My gripes with the unit is that it takes quite a while to warm up, unless it's on power at the desk obviously, where current is constantly going through it. It does take a while to warm up, and when it doesn't warm up and it's right at the beginning of its switching on cycle, like so, and it's cold, you do get an analytical, a bit peaky sound in the treble region. This does fortunately tend to go away, and once you've had the unit on for 20 minutes and you actually feel it with the back of your hand and you find it's actually warm, this unit is amazing. In brackets, it's amazing in its own environment. I've heard a lot of things about people saying this drives Sesvaras. No, it doesn't. This gets Sesvaras very loud. It does a good performance. It's okay. But what do you expect for a portable setup? When to my left, you find there is a pair of monoblock benchmarks. Of course, it's not going to be the same. This is a battery-powered unit, and it does get Sesvaras to a level. It gets it bloody loud. Don't ever increase the full volume on this thing on Sesvaras, because it goes loud. But the heft, the weight is a little bit lacking obviously. But let's move away from such ridiculous headphones. This is a portable unit. Let's put it back into its environment of Lyrique, of Atrium, and most especially the ambient acoustics MAD 24 and MAD 16 in-ear monitors. The latter being the most tricky because they're 8 ohm even on eco, because this unit does not have an IEM match. If you're not careful, even in echo mode, you will blow your brains out. It's as simple as that. You get a range of, I would say, about that much. A swing of about that much. So the delicacy, which you will have to increase the volume like this and then learn to stop and make sure it's not in a pocket where it does this, is not something I will recommend. I can't recommend it on the channel for a lot of IEMs. It's too powerful. For headphones such as this, it's fine in the eco mode. On the website, it states that it can be used with IEMs, but unless the IEMs are 60 ohm or 100 ohm or even 32 ohm and the sensitivity is below the 100 threshold, or it's at 101, 102 where you can get like about that much of a spin on the pot, I don't recommend it for IEMs. But sonically for IEMs, it's been absolutely incredible because of the headroom. On the Ambient Acoustics MAD 24, the synergy for those IEMs is always a bit tricky. It's like Sasvaras, it requires a certain finesse. It requires not obviously as much current, but finesse. And this provides it in spades. And obviously having those units with this has been a go-to for me on a regular basis. It provides just enough edge of attack where a slightly warm or a slightly soft driver would help, and the impact of the sub bass and the visceral attack of the mid bass is pure IFI. IFI IDSD Pro Signature with the LCD5 was one of the most slammiest headphones I've come across. It literally felt as though my eardrums were going to be kicked out of my head, but with the MAD 24s, this is something special. With Atriums, it's nice. The sound signature needs, like I stated, it needs to warm up, and then the sound signature plays to its strengths. It's really good. So with that impression, let's break things down. Staging on the IDSD Diablo seems to be holographic. It's great. It's a 360 field of view, and layering, like I mentioned earlier, is superb. It's fantastically well presented. Even laterally, where like the Mojo 2 excels at, this does a very good job too. On the go, I never felt as though with the right headphones that were designed to be used on the go, and with IEMs that are hard to drive and sensitive ambient acoustic ones, being ultra careful with the volume pot because there was like 1 centimeter of movement, I never felt as though I was missing anything. The authority is there within the stage. Everything's well layered. It's very, very well announced. Everything's nicely positioned. I wouldn't say it's overly analytically detailed, and I would not say it's overly lush and engaging and musical. I would say it walks a fine line down the road, right down the center. Talking of center, center image is always focused. It's right in front of you. It does have a tendency to move within the stage, come forward towards you and go back. So it does present an open stage when you're listening to classical music, such as Hans Zimmer's Pirates of the Caribbean live track that we test on the channel a lot. And what's important is the reverberation within the stage. You actually do get a feel of the environment that the music was recorded in. This is quite special for on the go and for something to throw in your laptop bag. Timbral information, I think it's good. I genuinely don't believe it's as good as what Questyle have been managing to do, even in their little dongle, the M15. Timbre on that thing is hyper realistic. It's really well done. On IFI, it's pretty much across the board. If you heard the Burr Brown dual chip inside this, same as I believe in their IDSD Pro Signature, though that one has more, I believe. And in the Griffin, you're not going to be too surprised. It's the same sort of sound characteristics. And their amplifiers, as a rule, tend to be viscerally impactful in the mid bass, dig deep in the sub bass, and a little bit glaring in the treble region, where it's a little bit forward, it's a little bit sharp, it's a little bit spicy. It's not silky smooth all the time. Textural information is very well received on high-end equipment like the Ambient Acoustics MAD 16 and MAD 24. You really do feel the texture of drum skins within your mind's eye and the body of violins and cellos. It does present itself very, very well. I was quite enjoying music with it, but I don't think any as much as the MAD 24s. Those seem to be synergizing with this ultra well. Very, very deep sub bass, extremely impactful mid bass, nice balanced upper bass region, open lush mid range, and treble region a little bit spicy on the edge of smooth, but it has some bite to it. depending on the genre of music. For classical and for real instruments, that does give it an edge, but for cymbals, it does tend to come across a little splashy at times and a very small amount artificial. Let's do some device comparisons. The Mojo 2 versus the Diablo, because I believe they're around the same price now. Mojo 2 is definitely smaller. Diablo utterly annihilates pretty much everything on the market for power. This thing is absolutely ridiculous, to a fault actually. Timbre I would give to the M15 over the Diablo, incidentally, and lateral information and presentation within the DAC to reproduce the digital to analog signal. I think I would give it to Mojo 2, genuinely. I think it's just that the amplifier inside the Diablo, it's actually a much better performer than obviously the ones we just mentioned. But the tonal balance of the amplifiers in M15 and Mojo, I take over the Diablo. I take the Diablo for the authority, for the impactful visceralness and the power it provides. It's a special unit, genuinely, and I think I would like to keep one around here, especially for the MAD 24 and MAD 16s, because nothing else I've tried here at CMA sounds the same with them. It's providing enough for me on the go with those super flagship IEMs that I don't feel as though I miss the desk most of the time, to be honest with you. That gives you a rough estimation of the sound. I think it's good. I think it's versatile. I think it drives pretty much anything to a certain level, and it drives most portable things to limits that sometimes exceeds those drivers, but there are caveats which we will discuss now. My problem is the unit's a little bit big. It's definitely not a pocketable thing, it's a laptop bag thing. Exclusion of dual USB-C for data and for power, and going for the USB-A, I don't agree with, because it became a paperweight when I was away when I needed it the most. So not a fan of that. Having the ability to go balanced out into an amplifier, I used it with a KN HA300 Mark IIs while I was waiting for cables to arrive for my May over there. And thank you IFI for providing the XLR cable, 2 amplifiers within the accessory kit. This is very, very nice. It's very well kind of kitted out, I would say. It became very important at a pinch, but due to that USB-A cable problem, I couldn't use it on the go, unfortunately. And I had to go and pay 35 quid and get an Apple plastic camera kit, which cost them like 32p to make somewhere in China, which is very unfortunate. I don't have any gripes with the output. I think it's fantastic. My problem is with sensitive IEMs and sensitive headphones, it's very unbalanced. Even using the single-ended, which is still ultra powerful, providing I believe 2.5 watts or 1.5 watts, because it's so powerful even in eco mode, you don't get a huge swing of the volume pot at that level, and there is a tendency to get off balance channel signals left and right, unfortunately, within the first couple of centimeters of the pot. If you're listening to sensitive in-ear monitors and by the time you get to a balanced point of the pot, it's very loud, like very, very loud. An IEM match would have been crucial in this unit. Also, using the turbo mode with ultra insensitive headphones, I find that distortion rises rapidly, audibly. I'm not sure how it is on the measurements, but audibly it definitely rises. I use this unit as a rule in eco mode. Very rarely did I go to standard. It's very powerful, very, very powerful, and very versatile in that aspect. So, conclusion, do I recommend this? Yes, I do, because I actually want to keep one for myself for the ambient acoustic stuff. It's doing something that very few other units of amp DAC units on the market are doing. The amount of power and the performance you get, it's fantastic, genuinely. Do I prefer a Mojo sound signature? Yes. Do I prefer the performance of the amplifier in the Diablo? Yes, I do. And I think it's sitting in a point of the market where not many of them exist for people wanting to take very, very insensitive headphones like Aria V2 and stuff in the office with them and places like that. And the unit's very small and it looks sleek as hell. Obviously the IFI way, it looks beautiful. So yes, I do recommend it. But be careful with the volume pot, please. So, shall we get down to the scores? I think for build quality, this unit gets 4 tigers out of 5. Functionality, I give it 2 tigers because of that USB-A situation. I'm not happy in the slightest, and the volume pot is just too powerful. It needs IEM match. It's too powerful for IEMs, and most people use IEMs on the go. Very rarely do they take stealth from Dan Clark on the go, genuinely. But for headphones, it's okay. It's pretty good. Sonic performance, 3 solid tigers. Overall, 3 solid tigers out of 5. In fact, this might be one of my favorite sonic characteristic sound from IFI. Very happy to have had it here for a while. And thank you so much again for sending it to us. And if you like reviews such as these and you want to see the reviews and hear my impressions before anyone else, consider joining Patreon. All the information will be down below. You can join our private Telegram chat or jump into the public one, if you have a mind, where we discuss audio equipment pretty much every day. I'm Koji CEO. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.